new goals. But are your finances ready for 2025? Let's talk about steps you can take today to help build a secure and thriving financial future. Number 1, review your financial goals. For example, do you know where you want to be financially in 5 or 10 years? And are your current savings and investments helping you to reach those goals in any way? You'll want to reflect on any big changes that happened last year. This might include things like a job change in marital status, did you make a big purchase such as buying a new home? And if so, how is this going to impact your savings moving forward? So I recommend number 1, reviewing your savings targets. Number 2, look at programs like group RSPs to make sure that you're maximizing these programs, often that come with an employee matching program. And number 3, confirm that your current investments are aligned with your longer term goals. For example, if you're holding cash right now, but you don't need the money for 20 years, you might want to consider investing a little bit more in the equity markets. Number 2, I encourage you to take a look at your income and benefits. Going off point number 1, if you've had any significant changes in income, such as a new job or a promotion, that's going to definitely trigger a new financial review. If you find yourself making more income in 2025, I encourage you to take a portion of that and either allocate it towards savings or paying down debt. Also, you're going to want to revisit your insurance coverage to make sure that any coverage you have in place is still sufficient. You might find yourself underinsured with this higher income. And finally, check to see if any new tax deductions will apply to you in 2025. This might include things like a higher RRSP contribution limit. Number 3, I would encourage you to take a look at your emergency fund or rainy day fund. Some people like to have an account where they just put cash, maybe invested in something like high interest savings, so that they have cash available should an emergency arise. This could be something like maybe the basement floods and you need emergency repairs, or it could be money that you can pull on in the event of job loss or an extended time away from work. If you dipped into this fund at all during 2024, you might want to look at replenishing it. And to the same point, if you find yourself with a higher income in 2025, you may also want to look at adding a little bit more money to this pot. The reason being, if you find yourself laid off throughout 2025, you probably would have gotten used to having maybe a higher cost of living, more expenses throughout the months, and so you're going to need a bigger emergency fund to help get you through this period of time when you're not working. Number 4, I want you to consider rebalancing your portfolio. We know that 2024 was a fantastic year for equities, and so if you had traditionally invested in a balanced portfolio, you might find that your allocation towards equities is much higher than maybe what you had originally agreed to. So take a look and make sure that your allocations towards equity and fixed income are aligned with what you want them to be. Number 5, the start of a new year presents opportunity to invest to some of your registered accounts. Remember that you'll have until the end of February to make an RRSP contribution that can be used against your 2024 income. As well, 2025 brings new contribution room of $7,000 for TFSA accounts and $8,000 for FHSA accounts for those who qualify. Number 6, please don't neglect your estate planning. Having an up-to-date will and power of attorney is extremely important. It will help to make sure your assets are divided in a way you wish if you pass away. It'll also make things a lot easier for the family that you may leave behind. If it's been a while since you last looked at your will and power of attorney, I would really encourage you to take a look and make sure that everything you've laid out still makes sense. A lot of times, or sometimes when I work with new clients, I'll go through their wills and powers of attorney with them and find out that certain information in the wills and powers of attorney no longer makes sense. Big things I see are trusts being created for their children that were children at the time, young kids, but are now grown adults. Other things I see is perhaps there's an executor listed and it's someone that the client has fallen out of touch with, or even that person's passed away. So look at your wills and powers of attorney and make sure it lines up. If it needs to get updated, I highly recommend reaching out to your lawyer. So in summary, what are a few things you can do to make sure your 2025 is financially secure? Review your financial goals. Ensure the benefits that you have at place at work and through insurance are still adequate. If you are making more money in 2025, consider increasing your savings plan or putting money towards debt. Also consider bumping up your emergency fund or rainy day fund. Take a look at your investment portfolio and do any rebalancing that might be necessary. Consider making a TFSA and RRSP contribution and even an FHSA contribution if that makes sense for you. And take a look at your wills and powers of attorney. You can take the first step today by setting aside even just 30 minutes to review all of this. Believe me, your future self will thank you. If you found this helpful, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more practical financial tips. And feel free to let us know in the comments, what's your financial goal for 2025? Be sure to check out the full article on our bio where we regularly post market updates and financial tips. Thank you for watching.